Warning: this stream is rated for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'll tell you what, we will revisit this. We will have an EBC UK versus US special part 2 at some point, you folks willing, and we'll revisit this topic, the differences between our cultures, because it is fascinating to me, especially the language. It is definitely pasta, not pasta. Pasta, yeah.
I don't know about this, Squidge. Here's the thing, Scott. I'm going to defer to our published author. So, yeah, Darkly's got a point. I wonder if we get some Canadians in the mix.
Yeah. Let's get Tuba.
Canada.
They're practically British. They're kind of like half British, half French, half American, aren't they? And that's Canadians for you.
I think we should have Ben in as a residential Canadian, even though he's, I think, Wisconsin or something like that.
Absolutely.
Michigan, I don't know. All that stuff up north is the same.
I feel like the US is inherently more competitive, and that kind of filters down through sports in like at college level and high school and all the way down to when the kids are very young. Because
do they not have jam, Squidge?
I think they do, but they call it jelly and we call it jam, and what we call jelly, they call Jello.
Yes, that is correct.
I don't know if that's a brand or if that's just what you call it.
Well, that's just chili, but with spaghetti rather than rice.
Yeah.
Right. Whoa! Hold on. Rice.
Yeah. What else would you have it with?
Yeah. What have we discovered here?
In the US, chili is more considered kind of like a soup.
Potato chips versus French fries. We call chips. We call crisps. What we call potato chips, and then I believe there's also a baked potato that you call something weird ass over there.
Jacket potato.
Yeah, a jacket potato.
Jacket potato.
Oh, jacket potato. What?
No, jacket. Because
Yeah,
apparently,
not jacket.
apparently the spud is wearing a sweater or something along those lines.
Yeah, we don't call them sweaters either. They're jumpers, which is really confusing. When I was reading books written by American authors, I was like, "What the hell is a sweater? I have no idea what this is." Like, yeah, I'm having a packet of Whatsits or Quavers.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait. What the hell is a Whatsit?
I guess you guys would maybe call them cheese puffs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are a brand. Yeah, or
Watsons versus
Yeah.
Cheetos. Okay.
Yeah, Whatsits, but with an O, like what? Whatsits. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not how you spell what.
Like that, yeah.
Tooby Swooby, Blue Skadooby. My name is Sir Toopsworth the Tootin' Tubes, and I certainly love to toot and blow me horn. It goes papa, papa. Bing bong, whittly doink. Huzzah!
Yes, Canada. It was a frozen, hostile wasteland. And there was much work to be done.
Oh, Kukalarcha, my man. My man! Kukalarcha in the house.
Have you seen my snowshoes? I'm going down to the Timmy's. Is that a moose? I'll grab you a double-double. Looks like a moose. Dozen Timbits. Hey, 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 hey. Fucking hey. Looks like a moose.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's not even the right thing here. Hold on. I break everything here. Hold on. There we go. Oh, there we go. Look at all those beautiful people, man. What's happening? How you doing? Yeah, I break everything. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tiggy Winkles. No, it's not even called that. It's called the local wildlife. I can't even remember the thing. Local wildlife animal hospital in the UK thing. It's Squidge is our sponsor this month or 3, and she requests that you go to Tiggy Winkles, which is a local animal hospital in the UK. However, it is the busiest and most advanced animal hospital for wildlife in the world. So they do good work over there. Check them out at the website. It's right in the chat. And if you were so inclined, perhaps make a small donation. Squidge would appreciate it. She might even change her hair color to something other than blue, like blue. You don't know, but I don't know. Check it out. So, how y'all doing? What's happening, folks? On the screen, are you alive?
Yes, I believe we are. Are you, sir?
I think so.
Is the animal perched upon your head anymore?
No, well, this is the ceremonial headdress from Canada. I wore it in honor of our Canadian friends across the border. Nice. And I'm probably really going to overheat very quickly here because today we actually had a very nice winter day. It's like 44 degrees here, which I looked up just to make sure I was accurate. That converts to 32.2 hockey pucks in Canadian Indian. And therefore, those people way up north that are used to this, they're like, oh, we're going to go out in the minus 17 degree weather, a boot, and, just be perfectly fine. Have a snow cone or something. So, yeah.
What's wrong with actually just go out for Slurpees in that weather.
That's right.
What flavor, Tuba?
Whatever I feel like at the time. Sometimes all of them, sometimes one of them.
Squidge hair
Scotty,
blue.
Maple syrup. That's the proper flavor.
That's the maple only syrup. Flavor, right? All right.
Slurpees shirtless.
So, if you have not noticed, because of the giant letters that are raging above my head, this is the UK versus US versus Canada special. So we built upon that concept we did last time, which was actually about 8 months ago now, and we decided to pull Canada kicking and screaming into the fray here. So representing the United States, because we literally are the best to represent the United States, is myself and Cage below me. They're representing the United Kingdom, the illustrious Isnib, and the person who has desires to take over the world and will probably do so in the very near future, the lovely Squidge. And then from I don't know. I just make shit up as I go. And then from Canada, it's Poot Scooty and Tuba Swan. Hello, how you guys doing?
Doing great, thanks.
Glad you could join
Doing well.
us. All right.
Like how he didn't ask me how I was doing. He didn't.
No, not at all.
Also, it just I just want to point out, just in case anyone just is looking at this, despite the fact that me and Scotty are under the UK banner, or UK word letters, we are Team US, and the people in the middle.
That
are
doesn't
Team
line
UK.
up.
Well, okay, but it kind of lines up like,
No,
okay,
it
so it should
no.
be UK, then
No,
US, then Canada.
No, you're making bullshit up. That's why I didn't ask you how you were doing,
No,
because you're insane.
I'm just picking apart your design. That's all.
This is a very rare occasion that I would agree with Lejeune, but I see where he's coming from, Scotty, to be honest.
Whatever.
I didn't notice till he pointed it out, to be fair.
Yeah. No.
But now he has.
Now, if I was really smart, I would take Cage's window and move it off of the screen so he could be under the proper column. Anyway.
Did you notice how neither Tuba or I pointed that out because we're polite, because we're Canadian?
Yeah, what the hell, Cage?
He knows I'm an asshole, so it's okay.
Mr. Kahe, how are you this evening? Afternoon.
Don't ask
whatever.
now as an afterthought, jerk.
Okay, so you're perfectly asshole-ish or something like that, I guess. Anyway.
I'm ready to be sarcastic.
Maybe that's the
as
true
hell.
difference between the three. Us Brits will apologise for being assholes. Canadians just won't be assholes at all. And then, of course, there's the Americans.
Yeah. The Americans are like, I resemble that remark.
Hey,
We're still assholes. We're just polite about it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Passive-aggressive assholes.
Tuba, you keep talking about like how much of an asshole you can truly be, and that you just hide it very well. And like, I'm scared to see what happens because you keep telling people, oh no, I can be an asshole. No, I can be an asshole. But like, you're such a like genuinely sweet sounding person, like in every time that I've ever interacted with you for anything. And yeah, you truly scare me. So
yeah, so we could hit on that for a while, a little bit here. Tuba, for quite some time, has been riding the line between evil and good. We don't know exactly where it's. There's plenty of fan theories, Tuba Swan fans, that are formulating the theories about whether or not Tuba is evil, and I think they're leaning towards the evil side, but
he's totally evil.
Chaotic neutral. It's the line I sit on.
There you go.
I can appreciate that line. It's a good line.
All right. So let's get started with some of the minor stuff before the last segment, which is going to be food, because that's all we really care about. Let's talk about automobiles, because I know Squidge is a motorhead, and she's got a little Volkswagen, right? No, maybe.
I do. Yeah. Yes. I have many in this one. Yes. I have a Golf, which I don't know if you guys have it, but I know you have a VW Rabbit, and I don't know if that's what we would call a Polo or if that's what we would call a Golf, but I know there's some weird names across the pond.
I don't know if we have still the Golf, but we did have it for a while. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we do. My brother-in-law owns one, but now that I think about it, I think they bought it from the UK and had it brought over here.
Oh wow!
They
'Cause it's still a current model here, so maybe it was.
They paid quite a bit for it. I know that much. My wife, short and sweet, her entire family, like dad and brother, they are big Volkswagen fans. Big Volkswagen fans. So.
But that's your vehicle of choice, right? You've had that for quite some time, and that was what you wanted, if I recall correctly from you talking about it previously.
Yeah, so it wasn't the first car I ever bought, because when I got my license, I was not allowed to drive anything with an engine of any real size. So once I kind of had a year's worth of driving under my belt, once I got to almost 19, that's when I bought the Golf, because it's got quite a big engine, and the insurance here I think works differently to over there, because I feel like over there you get a lot of 16, 17-year-olds that can drive around in Ferraris, and that just wouldn't happen here because they wouldn't insure you.
They want Ferraris, but they probably can't afford it. They, you know. And I just had to chuckle at you saying a big engine, because we've got engines over here that are the size of your car. So
this is true, yeah, comparable like
Big
size.
trucks.
Yeah, your trucks over there are just like, you know, when you see there's an American car on the road because it's taking up both sides of the road because it just won't fit on our roads. The size differences are just crazy.
Well, the people who own big trucks have to compensate for other little things. So
yes, exactly. To be fair, however, there are people here, especially like farmers, mechanics, things like that, that they have to, or they want to at least, own a bigger truck to be able to move big things. You know, like you've got a horse farmer here. They're going to have a minimum F-350 to pull a horse trailer with 2 horses in it, you know. That sort of thing. So, but we also have a huge subset of just asshole guys that like, oh, I need a big truck because I'm a big man, and you know, they do that. They just hog the road. Yeah, big man. So, tuba
big
or
giant mudding tires, and the truck is sparkling clean, like it's never seen a drop of dirt in its life.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just no fun.
Tuba or Poots, what are like the standard vehicles over in your neck of the woods?
I think it's like, from my experience, it's pretty similar to the United States. Like, maybe not as many sort of like huge trucks and stuff in the city, anyways. But the further outside of the city you go, you see those big trucks sort of everywhere, and SUVs are like what everybody drives, basically. Except for me, I'd never drive a car that was built after 1995. Because that's just how I was. It's just I've always just driven beaters. Like, I just like it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely bigger than what I've seen like in Europe for sure. I remember, like, what was I driving? I was driving even like some of those sedans and stuff here. Like, I had a European friend of mine come to visit, and I was like, oh yeah, like this was a small car for me, and she's like, you consider this a small car? Like, this is a large car anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, I'm one of the SUV drivers myself, but over in Alberta, you see the trucks absolutely everywhere. And the further north in Alberta you go, the bigger the trucks get. Like up there, you can actually a lot. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show, The Mega Machines. A lot of those trucks are actually up in northern Alberta.
Well, so then it seems not necessarily like an American thing, but and that's not even the biggest one that they have. KG could probably find like a picture of an F-750. Yeah, the F-750 or the F-850 is unbelievable. So it seems almost like, because you're in Europe, because the way the streets and the cities were designed and all of that, it's very narrow streets for the most part, especially in residential areas. Parking is a huge problem, I know, if you're anywhere in the city. Because at least any time that I've seen videos or pictures of residential areas in the UK, it's like car, all the way down the street, because parking is so tight there, and you almost have to have a small vehicle just to be able to do what you want to do there.
Yeah, I feel like the UK and a lot of European countries, because we're so old and we're so small in comparison to the amount of space in across the US and Canada, Like our roads and streets were built for like horse and cart, and then we kind of had to just squeeze cars on as they were invented,
Right.
and we don't have much ability to expand because some of the buildings are so old you can't touch them, and we just don't have the space. And I've heard that the US is pretty much built for the car, so it always has big wide roads and lots of space because you have the land to do that, whereas we just have such a finite amount of room. We're all very cramped together, and houses are smaller, cars are smaller, everything is squeezed into fit, so to speak.
Mm.
Well, and like here in the US, showing some of the pictures in our Discord chat right now of like giant trucks, that you would actually see driving around on the road here. Bigger is better. Bigger means better status, or whatever you want to think about it, type of thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, you guys do a lot more as far as like parallel parking. Like that's a common thing, parking on the side of the roads there. They barely teach that here in the United States. Like they've gotten rid of most areas where you would parallel park because people can't do it. They don't understand how to do it. There are commercials now for cars that will self-parallel park because Americans can't do it.
Poots is having an aneurysm over there.
Poots is
No,
unimpressed.
to be fair,
Driving 101, man.
Yeah, to be fair, half of all Americans are just plain stupid. So that really fits with
half.
Probably more than that. Yeah,
at least half.
Yeah.
I was going to say because we have 2 Americans here right now, Scotty. So
yeah.
I mean,
Don't talk about Scotty like that.
Exactly. I'm not wearing this hat for nothing. I'm trying to defect to the Canadian incidents.
But see, that would be the other thing I would say too, is like so you're talking about Americans having bigger cars, unable to do parallel parking because they don't teach it. Squid, you were talking about like the smaller cars because smaller roads, smaller areas, so it's a necessity to have a smaller car. Tuba, you mentioned you're an SUV driver, but Poots, you mentioned you just drive beaters, type of thing. But I imagine, again, depending on the parts of Canada where you guys actively live, an SUV is almost kind of like a necessity for you. You guys are going to have some harsh winters, I would assume. So having that extra traction power, that's a necessity. So smaller cars in the UK, necessity. SUV type vehicles or like ability to drive in, harsher weather, necessity. US, we just want big freaking trucks, man.
Yeah.
That's all we care about. Big trucks.
Right.
I'll be on the road and I will see some asshole in a big giant truck, especially if it's got whatever is going on with the engine, and a giant puff of black smoke comes out of the stack whenever they rev it up.
Fuck the environment.
Yeah. And they have to go a minimum. Speed limit is 60 or 65. They have to go a minimum of 80 in the far left lane because they just don't have the patience. And it's like, really? You're a representative of American? Yeah. So, I myself currently drive a Chrysler minivan, mostly because I had gotten that specifically for Uber, and I can take more passengers. But it also has been very helpful, and my next vehicle might also be a minivan, but I've also been considering going back down to a standard sedan, simply because of moving stuff. Like if I have to, move things for my friends or family or myself, the minivan really makes it easy. So I like that aspect of it. And Cage, what do you have?
So it's a Hyundai Ioniq. It is a hybrid vehicle. So it runs off of regular gas or petrol for our international friends, and a electric battery that gets charged by the petrol engine. So like I don't have to plug it in or anything. It charges itself. But it's nice. I get almost 60 miles to the gallon. So
Yeah, I have the flex fuel, so I can do the ethanol blend, the high ethanol blend, but it doesn't really save you any money. It's just a little bit better for the environment, not by much. So,
I have a fuel related question.
oh,
Okay.
I've heard that in the US, when you go to what I would call a petrol station, what you call gas station, you're not allowed to fuel your own car, as in you will actually get in trouble if you try and do it. You have to wait for an attendant to come and do it for you. And I
No,
don't know
that's
if
false.
that's true or if
That's-
that
it-
also
false.
applies in Canada.
I would.
It is
Sorry, go ahead.
true. It is true in certain states. There are a few specific states, one of them
Really?
being Pennsylvania, that you are not allowed to pump your own fuel. And I think a part of that is because of, you know, whatever legislation they came up with way back when to go, oh, there was this accident over here because of this dumbass pumping their own fuel. We'll just have, you know. So, like, if you, when I was driving through Pennsylvania a couple of years ago and I had to stop for gas along the highway, I got out and the guy's like, what are you getting out of your car for? And I said, oh, are you supposed to pump the gas? He's like, yeah, it's law here. And that was
Wow.
it. It's not like that where we live in Ohio, and I think the overwhelming majority of the states don't have that.
I will say that it must not be in every spot in Pennsylvania because last year I did go to Philadelphia and we stopped at Hershey, PA at like Hershey Park on the way
Okay.
home. And right outside of Hershey, we filled up the tank and
Okay, and Root is
I did pump it.
and Root's in my chat going, "You're a fucking liar, Scotty. PA doesn't." Okay, so it was if it's Jersey, and I stopped just you know in Jersey or something like that. That because I was going to some place in Jersey at the time, and yeah, that makes sense. But you have to understand something, Root. I'm a dumbass with the memory of a moldy sponge, so you're gonna have to deal with that. And yeah.
Now, I do remember when I was a kid, it wasn't a required thing. They like, but there was a big difference between self-service and full service
Yeah.
stations. You know,
we
of
don't-
course, gas was 89 cents a gallon back then, but you know, like I remember going to the gas station and you know, my grandma just pulled up to the pump and some dude just skipped out to the car and was like, "What do you need?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's kind of rare though now. I like you saw a big transition from the 50s and the 60s where it always was full service because that was what the service was like from the beginning. And then slowly they added self-service pumps, and then usually you would see them marked. Like you'd go into a gas station even as late as like the 2000s or 2010s, and they would have pumps marked self-service or full service, and then you'd pull up to the full service and the guy would come out. Now it's pretty rare to see full service anywhere here, but
I
it
think
kind of
most gas
depends where you
stations
go.
still have them marked as self-service, though.
Yeah.
I'm assuming probably just for people that may be traveling like from New Jersey and stuff like that, where it is a requirement.
Or legalities or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comments across the board from anybody on vehicles, petrol, or whatever else is related to that industry?
I was curious about the difference in gas prices because I know that it's cheaper in the States and I think more expensive in the UK, if I'm not mistaken.
The gallon in the UK is different to the gallon in the US, which doesn't help.
That's the other thing. Oh man, I can't even wrap my head around that.
How could a gallon be different there than
It's
here?
same with pints.
It's
different.
Yeah, it's US gallon and then there's normal gallon. Like when I actually went to school for my trade, they actually had to teach us both depending on where our designers would bring stuff from.
Oh wow.
But why?
U.S.
Why-
gallon
why
versus
the same
imperial
thing?
gallon. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I did not know this was a thing.
And pints as
And-
well,
and-
like our pint and your pint.
We're
Yeah.
getting gypped. We're getting gypped.
So like we did discuss this in the last special about how the UK seems to be a little bit just as screwed up as the US in using all these various measurements. Can we all just get on the metric system and use nothing else?
For it.
You know,
Yep.
and so many people here are just used to, you know, inches and miles and pounds and all this other stuff, and I think
I don't think it'd be as hard to change as everyone
No.
thinks it is, because the
No.
metric system, there's a reason why the rest of the world uses the metric system, and it's because it's flipping easier. Like, oh, how many inches are in a foot? 12. How many feet are in a yard? 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's just stupid. How many meters are in a kilometer? 1,000.
Yeah, and it's all based on exactly what the terms are supposed to mean, because it's all scientific, instead of let's base this off of this 1932 farming law, you know.
Well, yeah, it's all based on the decimal system.
Yeah. Fucking
Well,
Dewey.
we still use daylight savings time too, which is an antiquated thing. So,
yeah,
but I think a lot of places in the world actually still use that.
Yeah, and they're still arguing about it in our Congress. They're like, oh, well, there's benefits to keeping it, and then they start listing all these asinine reasons that nobody gives a shit about. It's like, oh.
The only reason they created it in the first place was for farmers, and now farmers have giant tractors with
Yes.
giant, like, sun blinding lights.
Yes. So it doesn't
You guys should swap
do
to
anything.
Celsius as well. Fahrenheit.
That I don't understand, and I also don't understand. I don't understand.
But I'm hesitant
and
on that.
I don't understand the conversion rate. Like, you know, instead of going, oh yeah, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing, that's 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, let's move it up the scale, 32 degrees. No, that's not how it works. You have to do this divider over here and come up with some kind of fraction.
All right, I've got the compromise. We'll just all move to Kelvin instead. It'll be fine.
Yep, there we go. There we go.
Compromise. But that's the thing. So Celsius, right? 0 degrees is freezing. 100 degrees is boiling point.
Simple.
Or like water boiling point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get those two things. It's the 1 through 99 everywhere in between that I don't understand. And if someone sits there and tries to tell me that, like, oh my God, it's so hot today and it's 55 degrees outside or whatever, I'm not sure exactly where that would be, but like,
we would die.
55 is very
We're literally on fire.
55 has got to be over 120, right?
I think so, yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like 55 degrees Celsius, 131, you know.
Yeah,
like,
that's a little spicy
my
there.
brain just hears 55 and says, like, no, that sounds like I want to put on a jacket.
Right.
There's only 3 countries in the world that use Fahrenheit. You're definitely in the minority for wanting to use that.
But we're America.
Yeah, and we don't give a shit.
That's a sound argument.
that is America's entire argument.
Okay, so
for everything.
So
because we're America.
So I feel that Tuba has been using Kelvin all along and looking down on us peons, and we just all need to switch to Tuba's system there. So, all right, we're gonna take a short commercial break and then come back for part 2. Stay tuned.
The moon that he was taking from the deck. So
yeah,
like it was really impressive for a phone camera. Like you could see like the different dark spots on the moon. Like that's how good the zoom was.
It was Pink Floyd there, and he's like, "That's a dark spot on the moon." I know, right? You love me.
I'm sorry, everyone.
You love me. Anyway, welcome back, and let's see here. I wanted to ask about some like rapid fire things. Tuba, we've previously discussed the whole milk in a bag scandal. That he denies it to this day. And
it's specifically an Ontario kind of Quebec kind of thing.
Okay.
And they say it's Canada everywhere, and they're like, no way, that's milk in a bag is just not effective.
No.
Oh wait, so what do you use? What do you use to put milk in? Is it in a plastic jug or is it a carton?
Well, either a plastic jug or a carton, depending on if you're getting a 2 liter or a 4 liter.
2 liters of
4
milk.
liter. Yeah. 2 liter. We have 2 liter bottles of soda here, but milk always
It's
comes
called
in a
pop, get it
gallon.
right.
I'm with you on the pop one.
Yeah, no, I knew that. I knew that about Canada. Like it's pop up there, and then that kind of like spread south into the Midwest like a disease. And there's areas of the Midwest here where we call a pop. I don't drink it anymore, so I don't even know what it is anymore aside from cancer or something. But yeah, so we got that. I heard about this one. Colored pencils up there are called pencil crayons.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's pencils and then there's crayons. There's no such thing as a pencil crayon.
I think it's because the main kind of distributor of them is Crayola up here. So we
Okay.
have crayons, and then the box is the exact same, but it's a pencil, so it's a pencil crayon. I think that's just where it came from, and that's where we just stuck with it.
Well, see, now the main distributor of colored pencils in the United States, I would imagine, is Crayola.
Yeah.
And they make crayons. They come in a similar looking box. Like the design on them is similar, but like the pencils are full size pencils. They're not like short and stubby like crayons. Are they short and stubby like crayons up there?
No, they're pencil crayons are. They look like pencils.
But more importantly,
Makes perfect sense.
But more importantly, pencils have a very hard center that is made out of like if it's a normal pencil made out of lead, or graphite. But the colored pencils it's the same kind. It's like a chalky material versus a crayon, which is made out of a waxy material. So that doesn't quite work with the crayon description there. Yeah, interesting. How about Z?
-1 to Canada.
Yeah. How about Z versus Z? Where I like if you look at the letter A, B, C, D, Y, Z. I mean, there's no ED, following the Z. So where do you all get that from?
I always say Z, so I think it's one of those things that.
Oh, Poots is like, no, I'm not with that part of
I've always
Canada
said-
over there.
You always say Z. Okay, I feel like maybe I say both. Actually, I'm sitting on the fence on that one.
I have figured out where the change came from.
Oh.
If you sing the alphabet song, it always rhymes. Like every few letters, you have an E letter, and then the very last one is Z. So in order to make it make sense, people who say Z wanted it to rhyme in the song.
Oh, that's interesting.
That sounds like an American
Like
thing.
A B C D E F G H
Yeah,
I
yeah,
J K
yeah.
L M N O P Q S T U V W X Y Z.
Yeah,
that doesn't
yeah,
work.
You're absolutely right there, Tubes. Good point.
How about bathroom versus washroom? No comments?
Yeah, we don't use washroom over here, do we,
Never.
Squidge?
Never.
No?
I've always called it a bathroom.
Bathroom?
Yeah.
I use both.
Or darkly says the loo.
So if it's in someone's house, I'll call it a bathroom. If it's a public like restroom, I'll call it a washroom.
Interesting.
And I usually don't use restroom except for that last sentence that I just said.
I feel like that's fair though, because you think about the idea, like bathroom insinuates the room in your house of which you take a bath.
Right.
So a public restroom, you're not going to take a bath in there. You're
depending.
But you also don't go into a public restroom and like, I think I'm gonna take a rest here.
Well, that's why he calls it a washroom.
Yeah.
Because you go in and you wash your hands after you're using the facility, hopefully. I would imagine our international country folk probably better at that than America, because we all found out what washing our hands causes Americans to want to do.
I don't think I would call a public. I wouldn't call a public room a bathroom. Bathroom is definitely just like in someone's house. Like if I was out and about, I would just call it the toilet. Like, where's the toilet or where's the loo?
That's
It would never be a
100%.
washroom or a bathroom or X room. It'd just be
But you can't say I'm gonna go wash my hands in the toilet.
Yeah.
yeah, I need to go wash my hands. It's implied that you're going to the toilet to do that, but or
Yes,
I just
Yeah,
say
you
I
just
need
don't
to
say
go to
you
the
don't
toilet.
square.
Yeah, we just
submit
have
where you're going.
Yeah, we just
Just
or,
going to wash
or
my hands.
you just don't want to, you have to differentiate. I'm not going to wash my hands in the toilet,
No, but that's implied. We're not savages that need to differentiate that, Sky.
We would know.
Well, you just need the futuristic sinker toilet.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, we're not even going to go there, Cage. Pinch it off. Okay, how about parking garage versus parkade?
What is a parkade?
Tuber or Poots?
It's a parking garage.
Yeah,
It's a parking garage.
As in,
It's parkade here.
as in like a
Oh,
car.
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You ever just think that Tuba is just saying things to just cause chaos at this point?
This is what's interesting is I think like because we have so much like influence from American culture, I think a lot of people use both of these depending on like where you were brought up, depending on who your parents were, how you learned it as a kid. I feel like both of those are used here for sure. I call it a parking garage, but I know that there are people like here that call it parkades as well. I think it's even written on some of them that they're parkades.
Yeah, in where I work, like when you drive around downtown, it literally says parkade, parking, public parkade.
Right.
Nowhere does it actually say a parking garage where in my main city.
I would get not
games for
calling it a
cars, yeah.
garage, but
How about sofa, couch, or Chesterfield? That's
Those three different things.
I'm assuming
Is that a brand?
Yeah, I'm assuming Chesterfield is a brand that makes sofa couch type deals.
Yeah, it's just a sofa. Or
Davenport.
if you're very posh, it'd be a settee.
get out, short and sweet, get out. Davenport.
Yeah, definitely sofa, not couch, isn't it, Squidge? However, I remember being a kid calling it settee, and we were definitely not upmarket. So I don't know where that came from, Squidge. But also I've heard it called a suite. And if anyone's heard that.
Never heard that.
Usually for us, the suite is more of like a specific room.
Yeah.
Like an
right.
ensuite.
Yeah. We have a lot of that here with business, like you're in whatever address that's a commercial building, suite, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something I ever used. I just remember some people saying it as a kid. I'm like, sweet. It's your sofa, isn't it? Or your settee. That's the case.
So I think so. Like Chesterfield, I think refers to a specific design.
That
of
was my
sofa.
understanding. Yeah.
Like, and I dropped it in our chat in here, and it's like all of them seem to have this very same type of basic design. They've got very high sides, and the backs to them are all like buttoned. Like they have like button imprints across them. So I think that was a way that they were designed at a certain point in time, and the name ended up sticking to them. But even just looking at all these examples of Chesterfields, it's not a common design that I see ever anywher.
Makes me think of an office rather than like what you'd have in your house.
Yeah, for like
Interesting.
a waiting room type of setting almost.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's similar to me. If that's a brand name, that's similar to me about how the oddball people in the center of the screen call vacuuming hoovering, even though that's like, that's a brand name, and clearly the action of sucking dirt out of your carpet is not relevant necessarily to a Hoover. Necessarily. So, yeah, any comment on that, Canadians?
Well, Hoover is a brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hoover's the brand. So it's like I think about the same thing with like I call tissue paper Kleenex, even though that's the name brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a lot of Americans will also call it Kleenex too.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, last night, short and sweet, we were playing games, and she's like, "Hey, can you get me a Kleenex?"
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I went to the paper roll in the bathroom and got her something. Like, we don't have any actual Kleenex in our house. We have tissue paper.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
but it's still called a clean. People associate that brand to it, so it makes sense.
And I unfortunately, because we have some time constraints, I just wanted to ask one more question of our friends to the north. What is this thing known as, if you know, Ogopogo?
Oh, Ogopogo.
I have no idea.
That's so Tuba's Alberta, living in Alberta, the province of Alberta. I'm in British Columbia, and Ogopogo, I'm almost positive, is a BC thing. It's like our take on the Loch Ness monster.
Okay.
It's like a lesser Loch Ness monster. Say that with all humility.
And where has Ogopogo been spotted?
That is a good question. I want to say it's up in the interior, like around the Okanagan region, is where I remember first hearing of it when I was a kid. But yeah, Ogopogo is like a ripoff of the Loch Ness monster.
Sacred creature of the Okanagan waters.
Wow.
Okanagan, yeah, I was right.
Interesting. And I do, while we wrap this segment up, I do have to thank our Canadian friends for this specific action, which is that the members of the Westboro Baptist Church here in America are not allowed to enter Canada at all.
Oh, Canada wins now.
Yes.
I did not know that, but that is fantastic.
I found out that interesting fact. There is literally an exception to the immigration law in Canada, visitation and all that. The members of that church are not allowed to cross the border. Church, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I remember hearing a lot about them on the news, so that's funny.
Yeah. They finally kind of quieted down a little bit, but they're still out there protesting military funerals and all that bullshit. Anyway, all right, we're going to take one more quick commercial break and then come back for the food segment of this special. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. And now for everybody's favorite part, because we're all hungry and we all want to eat, but we need to discuss first what it is that we're going to be eating. Let's start with UK. What exactly is clotted cream?
I mean, what? Where do we even start, Squidge? What kind of a question is that? How do you not know? Is the real question, right?
Didn't we have this discussion?
Yeah, I think we've.
Did we? I don't know. I can't remember shit.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that.
All right. Well, then ignore that and tell us about something else that we don't know about that is peculiar to the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I think we covered clotted cream last time. We could go back to it.
Butter.
Yeah, butter. Yeah, what
Hey,
about
y'all, cooking with butter?
Yeah, I mean, if you have it, it's nice. It's not hard to find, obviously.
Yeah.
It's rare to get real butter. I find.
And our butter comes in tubs, not sticks. I don't know about Canada, whether you have blocks or tubs or sticks.
We have yeah, right.
That should be like the default question for anything. Does your ISNIB come in blocks or tubs or sticks? No.
Well, but okay, so Tuba, Pooch, you both said both, right? Okay, and Squid, you said your clotted cream comes in tubs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the most part here in the United States, to what I see, real butter comes in sticks, like, or blocks, whereas margarine, which is mostly like vegetable oil, like put together, to form a butter-like substance comes in the tubs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But can you guys think of anything else that is something very peculiar that the United Kingdom people eat?
I imagine that you guys do not have Yorkshire puddings,
Oh, good one.
right, Squidge? They don't know what it is. They don't know what they're missing out on. What are they? How are they even alive at this point? Come on, Canada. We must have given you the joy of Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah, so my stepdad actually made banging ass Yorkshire puddings. He made such good ones, and we would have it all the time with like every time we had roast beef for dinner with like potatoes, gravy, Yorkshire puddings. He he totally turned me on to that. That's great.
It's brilliant.
Do they have real Yorkshires in it?
No, Yorkshire free, man. This is
okay. We're in the modern age. So please describe a Yorkshire pudding and the why it is so excellent.
Take it away, Iz.
It's like I don't know what's in this shit.
I mean, yeah. Let me find some actual. Yes, it's a baked
sweet.
pudding made from a batter of eggs, flour, and milk or water.
Mm-hmm.
A common British side dish. It is versatile food that can be served in numerous ways depending on its ingredients, size, and the accompanying components of the meal. It
Thank
is
you for reading from Wikipedia.
Yeah. That was my imagination.
Nib promotes Wikipedia on the EBC channel.
So it's kind of like so it's a side dish, almost like you would have mashed potatoes or biscuits.
Hell yeah,
or
mashed potatoes.
Like
not biscuits.
That's kind of
mashed potato.
Okay, well, like mashed potatoes, but that's what it's kind of like treated as. It's like a side in that vein.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You also there's a dish called Toad in the Hole, which is basically a huge Yorkshire pudding with sausages baked into it, and the Yorkshire pudding batter is the hole in the name of the dish, but it's not like a Yorkie that you get with your roast dinner.
I just love that name, Toads in a Hole.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Actually,
it's
really
called
good.
that, but yeah.
You not like
heard that
eating
before?
toads?
Yeah.
What's going?
No.
Yeah,
no.
there's a restaurant just nearby that actually specifically makes them, so you can just order one.
Yeah, we don't have holy toads over here. I'm looking at the pictures of the Yorkshire pudding, and to me, it just kind of looks like a buttermilk biscuit, like what we have biscuits over here, that is kind of collapsed in the center, and
maybe it's
kind of
crispy and also soft.
Okay.
It's not crunchy at all. Well, it might, not crunchy. It might be crispy. If it's a little bit.
Scotty, look at the picture that I put in the chat though. Oh my God, it's a Yorkshire, like a giant Yorkshire with mashed potatoes and beef and gravy. And
that does look good, and that's probably
looks freaking amazing.
Fairly close to.
There you go. Now you're starting to understand the majesty of the Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah,
it's a simple thing, but it you know, you can achieve so much with it.
And that's probably similar to like our pot pie over here. Except the pot pie just is like got a cover on it, you know. But yeah, filled with gravy
it's
and
more like a popover.
A popover. I don't know what that is, but okay.
Oh. I'll say this: you can absolutely have a wonderful roast dinner without Yorkshire puddings. But there is, you know, it's just going to be even better if you do.
So it's not actually like pudding per se, what we would call pudding over here, because I was imagining something like creamy, and you know, we've got vanilla and chocolate puddings over here.
No. Oh, you could take your pudding and put it on a Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah,
if you're a crazy person.
Yorkshire pudding and American puddings meet.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it.
No.
But I'm seeing a picture here of like a breakfast Yorkshire pudding where there are eggs baked into the center ones, and those look fantastic.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah,
Well,
I've not
it's
had it with
better.
egg before, but...
Yeah, so you can kind of have it with whatever you want. It's just like a vessel for sauce and meat.
Yeah,
and what
so
have you.
so Rude asks, if it's not actually pudding, why do you call it a pudding?
Because that's the name of it.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. We just we'll have to speak to our forefathers about that.
Yeah.
We have a lot
Well,
of puddings in the UK. Like we have like steak and kidney pudding, which is like a suet pastry with meat and sauce inside. But then we also have like sponge pudding, which is very sweet. I think we just call a lot of things puddings for some reason.
Well, thank you, blue-haired pudding. The
I think like so with the Yorkshires, they're like it's just because it's just like milk and flour and eggs. I mean, that does lead it to being versatile, like in the respect it could literally be savory, sweet, whatever you want. So
let's jump over to Canada. Is there some kind of very peculiar foods up there in Canada that y'all eat on the regular, or at least know about, that aren't in either of our two countries?
if y'all don't say poutine, I'm gonna throw you out.
I love poutine.
Well, poutine is a common one, but I think another common one is
nice.
Probably Nanaimo bars.
Oh, that's a good one I hadn't thought of.
Whoa, somebody just kicked me out
Yeah,
for some reason.
excuse me, Tony Baloney. We're in the middle of a podcast here.
I want to talk to this girl with the blue hair. She looks kind of
Yeah,
cute. Can I come on
sorry.
TV?
Yeah, no, let's ban this guy.
Appreciate your microaggressions, sir. Don't appreciate them.
Jesus. Okay. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that, folks. We just kind of got some guy in the Conflux who specifically came into our group chat just to hit on Squidge, and didn't even call her pudding. I mean, you know.
How dare.
Jeez. Anyway, thank you all for dealing with that.
Sort your life out, mate. Is it hard? Is it hard? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You tell me.
What were you saying,
Anyway.
Poots, about this bar?
Oh yeah, no, Tuba, you take that one because I haven't had a Nanaimo bar in a very long time.
Oh, Nanaimo bars are absolutely amazing. They're more of a dessert. But I can't remember exactly what's in the middle, but it's quickly look. It's basically a chocolate kind of dessert.
Yeah, I don't even know exactly what goes in them. I haven't had one in so long.
I just know they're amazing. That's how it's spelled.
Nanaimo?
Nanaimo.
Nanaimo.
Yep.
I'll have to look into that. Or you can mail us some.
Yeah, it's...
You know. I don't know. The Canadians might arrest you for mailing some, contraband across the border or something. Anyway. All right. Any other discussion on that? Like specific foods?
And I mean, yeah, as Tuba mentioned too, of course, like poutine is like sort of the most classic Canadian, just Canadian.
Yeah, and
most of our other food. Sorry.
I just wanted to say I'm well aware of poutine. I have not had a proper one. Like I can make my own, according to a good recipe. But I'd like to go to a restaurant here and actually be served a good proper poutine, and it just hasn't been able to happen yet.
The key with poutine definitely.
Bit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, the key I always found with poutine is you got to get the cheese curds. You can't just be sprinkling any kind of cheese on there. You got to have the cheese curds melt with the gravy and so good.
That sounds amazing.
We do
it's
have
really good. People put all sorts of crazy stuff on it, but
yeah,
just classic poutine is just like fries, gravy, and cheese curds.
Right. So we do have a restaurant here that does have fried cheese curds, and that is not a typical thing, and they are absolutely delicious. Like you've got your fries, you've got fried mozzarella sticks or something like that, but fried cheese curds really take the cake. So I know where you're coming from there. Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
That's like comfort or like 1 a.m. drunk as hell food. Like
Right.
Yeah. Surely you wouldn't want to make it at 1 a.m. when you're drunk. That sounds like it could go quite badly wrong if you're
Well,
trying to.
it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to screw it up. Really, you just throw a bunch of stuff together.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, but I think
also
it's more like if you're drunk, you're dealing with a deep fryer.
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah,
so-
that's never safe. I don't endorse that.
or dealing with something that's rather messy. It could easily, with that gravy, get everywhere, and you don't have your full faculties when you're drinking, and that it could easily become a mess, I think.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
But it would be fun though.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Somebody walks into your house after a night of drinking, they're like, why is all this poutine all over the walls? They're like, I don't know. Okay, and Canada, any other specific dishes? And I asked you specifically because we already heard from the UK people, and they don't get any more time on my stream. So
nothing that comes to mind offhand. I think we borrow a lot from both the UK and the US again.
Yeah.
So like we have like fast food, but not as much many varieties and different kinds of fast food maybe as you do in the United States. And then we borrow a lot, I think, as well from like sort of like roast dinners, sausage and mashed potatoes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I think there's two other ones that are quite common. That are pretty big for us. We do have the Montreal style smoked meat, which is really,
that's
really
a good one.
And then the other one that kind of sticks out for me is beaver tails. A lot of people seem to not know about either of those things.
Now, is that an actual beaver tail?
No, it's just a piece of dough, and then it has a variety of different type of sweets and stuff. It's generally another dessert. We like our desserts.
Oh, this sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it's really good.
have you seen most Americans? We like our desserts too.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You guys will like this one. This one's good.
Yeah. So have either of you ever eaten beaver? Actual beaver? I'm not making a joke there.
No, I have
Cage. Don't make me ban you for your fucking filthy mind. No, I'm talking about No, I'm talking about like actual beaver.
Why is he even here in the first place?
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was pretty funny.
No, not a thing over there. Anywhere?
Yeah, can you eat beavers?
No.
Of course you can eat beavers.
Really.
You can eat any animal.
I Google a lot of things, but I'm not
You
going
don't want
to
to Google that.
I'm not going to Google can you eat beaver. Okay.
It's going to give you some. It's going to give you some
actual beaver, the animal. Is it even worth risking that?
It's going to give you some tips and tricks on how to properly eat a beaver, right? Oh God.
Usually, beavers are more hunted more for their pelts rather than actual eating.
Okay. Well, we have some examples here. Like depending on where you go, certain meat markets will have ostrich or venison or even goose or some of these other more exotic animals. And I didn't know if there was like anything over there that you kind of like have seen available. No. Okay, I'm just making shit up.
What about moose?
Moose. Yeah.
I have had moose. It's one of those more tough ones. It's better more as a jerky than as an actual like main source of food.
Yeah, I've never had that.
West Canada or East Canada?
I've never been to East Canada personally, so I gotta go with West.
Tuba?
Yeah, I live in the West, but I have lots of family in the East.
Okay. And the best like if you want to get a good experience for like what it's like to be a Canadian or what is purely Canadian experiences and sensationalism, what city should you visit?
That's a hard one because lots of parts of Canada have different aspects of Canada. There's no like one
Okay.
place to go to. But
Yeah.
like,
So it's
for
like
example,
America.
like, what do you mean for that? Sorry.
No, just like I mean, do you have any recommendations? Like, if somebody's going to visit Canada, where should they go? Toronto, or further out west where
Honestly,
you guys
usually
are?
for visiting Canada, I usually just recommend Banff, just because it's very nice and kind of like a peaceful area.
Okay.
And you get the mountain views and kind of like that general feel. But it's
Sorry,
very
Banff.
touristy at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, it really
that's
depends
right in
what
the
you're
middle.
going. It really depends what you're going for.
Okay. Same question, real quick, while we wrap up here. UK. Where in the UK should you go if you were to visit?
I would advise against it personally.
Is Nib's house?
I don't know. It depends what you're looking for. I guess technically, if you were doing one visit in your life and you were looking for like the sites or tourist stuff, I guess technically it would be London. But it is just in the middle of the city, so it's if you want natural beauty, I don't know, maybe Scotland somewhere, I guess. But I don't know. What do you reckon, Squidge?
Yeah, I think if you're going to come to the UK,
roll her eyes.
no, I had something in my eye. No, I think Scotland is-
Sure.
No, I swear, hand on heart, no, I didn't. Yeah, I think Scotland is probably better, and the UK is more than just London. So, like, the Highlands of Scotland are lovely. There's also like the Lake District as well, very beautiful. Just anywhere out of the city.
Mm.
And it was asked in our chat, where should you go in the U.S.? New York and L.A. used to be the places to go, and there's still a lot of really great stuff to see in those two cities, even Chicago or wherever else you're going to go. But in the last 10 years, they've all just gone downhill. I mean, very literally, there's nothing but homeless people, tents on the sidewalks, urine and feces everywhere because the city apparently doesn't clean up the mess that is made by these homeless people. And a lot of the cities, Cleveland's not bad. I mean, it's, they keep the downtown area pretty clean, relatively speaking, I'm talking, but yeah, I would not suggest New York or LA unless you are like hardcore wanting to go check some stuff out. So,
honestly, in my opinion, and I joked and I said Disney World, but like honestly, like if you were gonna visit somewhere in the United States, pick some place that has the touristy things that you want to see.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough here, I don't think, that really distinguishes us from the rest of the world other than our tourist sites. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there are areas where there are, hills, there's mountains, there's some beautiful places here.
Mm-hmm.
But like for you guys, for example, if you were to come to the United States for a reason, choose wherever has the touristy things that you want to see. If you want to come see the Statue of Liberty and Times Square and stuff, go to New York. If you want to see the Hollywood sign and Beverly Hills, go to LA. But
yeah, aside from that, it's like it used to be that you could come to the cities and see some great things and all that, but it's not a big thing anymore as far as that goes, and the cities are just completely filthy now. So yeah, Flint, Michigan.
Joel says
Jesus.
if you really want to see America, like true America, go to Flint, Michigan. Just don't drink the water.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, so real quick, because we need to end, let's go through and folks tell us what is happening on your channels in the coming weeks. I know Squidge, unfortunately, is dealing with some tech issues and not the normal, hey, it's a stream and we're going to have tech issues. These are debilitating tech issues that have taken her out of the game for a little bit. So Squidge, do you have like generally a concept of when you might be back streaming?
Hopefully April.
April. Okay, so Yes. So just check out Squidge, and she will post, obviously, when she's going to be back streaming again after she resolves some of her issues here. Isnib, what is coming up on your channel?
After we've finally recently completed Persona 5, only took us like 2 months.
This is the game that never ends.
Except it did, Scotty, much to your disbelief. But we are finally getting back to Elden Ring from tomorrow. So if you want to see me suck and fail to get good, feel free to join us.
And then Cage is going to make Isnib play Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know why.
It's quite possible.
Yeah. Cage, what's coming up on your channel?
Isnib's going to drag out Elden Ring as long as he can to try to convince someone else to vote. Currently, Tactics is winning. But I digress. We've kind of already talked about that, and realistically, that'll happen on a time where we can make something happen. On my channel, God only knows. This week I changed my complete life around because I start third shift at work. So I don't even know when I'm going to have the free time to stream, to be honest. I know that next weekend I have arcade on this channel with our guest. And beyond that, we have more episodes of Streamer Sync planned. I have a couple other collaborations planned. RAV Retro will be returning in the near future. I am currently playing Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening and enjoying that a lot. I've been doing some more arcade stuff. But yeah, I don't have times for anything.
You just need to,
at least that I'm willing to announce right now.
Yeah, so you just need to settle into your new schedule, and then I'm sure it'll follow. Well, I'm assuming we're going to see some weeknight streams from you now that you have that free time, and once you get used to it and get into your groove, we'll see some of that we haven't been able to see for quite some time because of your work schedule. Yes. Poots, I know you primarily do Final Fantasy VI speedruns.
Yeah, I started out sort of just variety streaming, whatever I felt like, whenever I felt like, but I've very quickly turned into an exclusively Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer.
Okay.
Which I speed run and race with other people in the community. So that's just an endless amount of fun for me. And when I'm streaming these days, when I have the time to do it, that's generally what I'm playing.
Okay. Anything else though that you've seen any of the newer games coming out? Anything fit your fancy? You think you might add to the repertoire soon?
Not planning to stream necessarily. I am playing other games just off stream. That when I'm streaming though, generally I'm doing FF6, and that's sort of the plan going forward.
Okay. And Tuba Swan.
So currently on my channel, kind of going through some story elements in preparation for Tears of the Kingdom coming out in May. And then sometime in the near future, I also need to do a longer stream to kind of do some celebration stuff. Not sure exactly when though.
And I'm assuming at some point in the near future, you're going to restart your podcast covering Majora's Mask, right?
Yes, still need to talk with the other people. We are definitely going to be trying to get the podcast up and running again. Kind of life is starting to settle out for the three of us involved, so that's really exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So go follow the people on the screen, very creepily so, hide in their bushes and all that. And we're going to say goodbye to them at this point because we're actually relatively on time. We were supposed to stop at 2:30 and it is 2:31. So thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate you. And we'll see y'all later. But in the meantime, I'm going to take you over to coming attractions here on the EBC channel. And you guys can take off if you want. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you later. Coming up here on the EBC channel, I am back in action after about 2 weeks where I had some issues personally that I needed to take care of, and we should be back to a relatively regular schedule right now. And then figuring out what we're going to be doing after that, I can tell you this, that as soon as I move and get settled into my new place. I don't know when that's going to be, sometime in the next 6 months. Then I'm going to kick it into overdrive, and we should have a regular 5 streams every week between Twitch and the Conflux. So stay tuned for that, and watch the schedule. Just head over to the website www.ebc2021.com, and we will have all of the info there. So this week, Wednesday night, we've been continuing our DMCA Disney doubles. So this Wednesday, starting at 5:30 Eastern, we'll be doing the Jungle Book from 1967, and then it's a live-action remake from 2016. Stop by for that. Then coming up on Thursday, we're back to That's Not Real Trek. We're already to episode number 26, if you can believe that. And we're in the middle of season 1 of Lower Decks, which is the newer animated Star Trek. And we're flying through those episodes, so we'll look at 4 of those episodes on Thursday night starting at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, we've also been doing Twin Speaks. Watching Twin Peaks with Iznib on Saturday mornings. And we're 3 episodes into season 2. So we're continuing with that. And that's going to go for, I want to say, another 4 months or so. We've got the rest of season 2, season 3, and the movie that came out. So check that out if you are interested in Twin Peaks. Our next episode of Arcade Nostalgia Memories podcast is episode 6 in our second season. Skyfer is going to be joining us, and that's going to be a special time because Sky is in Indonesia. He is 11 hours ahead of us, so that's going to be next Sunday at 10 a.m. here on Twitch, and Sky will be presenting the what the hell was the name of the thing with the thing? I can't remember. Here, let me look it up real quick. I want to say Chrono Trigger, but that's not right. Something, Xenoblade Chronicles, all 3 games in the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy. So yeah, check that out. It's now his new favorite game after recently playing them, starting that about 6 months ago. And he'll be sharing his passion with you on that. Then this is, I'm just hyping this up, even though it's probably a bunch of bullshit. The EBC grand reopening under the same old management. That's going to be Sunday, March 5th. Now, what is going to happen that day is a couple of things, and I'm kind of just literally cobbling together several different unrelated things. The first thing is, I had mentioned previously that the archive for all of my VODs had to move to YouTube because the site I was using, Vidyard, it wasn't going to work anymore with their new policies. So I have migrated my entire archive over to YouTube, and for the first time, starting on that Sunday, it's going to be available to everybody. So you can go back and watch 95% of the entire video on-demand archive from my channel over the past year and a half. And anything that you're interested in, it'll all be categorized with playlists and all sorts of stuff on YouTube, and it'll be free. Now, what won't be free is the audio dramas and our Enigma Blockbuster Cinema 2021 show. Those will be available on a separate thing that you can access through the EBC Patreon. So I'm going to be revealing a lot of those changes and, giving you some information on what's going to happen. I am redesigning my stream for that, and we're going to have a ton of new elements for you. I'm going to be replaying our 3rd audio drama, The Threat of They. So if you haven't heard that, that came out in February last year. Stop by for that. And my first speedrun attempt on Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest will be that night. So that's all on Sunday, March 5th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you have not heard the info yet, our next audio drama, Polybius 2021, is coming out on Sunday, April 2nd, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch. Mark it on your calendars. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be cool as all get out. So that's about it. Thank you for joining, and appreciate y'all. Let's find somebody to raid. Raid. Yeah. Everybody was awesome today. All of our people from across the pond, Squidge and Isnib, and then we had the Canadios. That's it. They are a cereal now. We are going to call them Canadios. Get your Canadios and get your fiber from the Canadios. Okay, we're gonna go raid somebody who has only recently returned back to streaming after a long absence, and that is Seven. So, and Seven's playing a JRPG called 999, and I believe this is her last stream of that game, so check it all out. Say hi for me. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, because I'm not going to eat the Yorkshire pudding with American vanilla pudding on it or anything like that. That does not sound appealing, and especially if we serve it on top of Cage's head, because he's got the bald head, the chrome dome, and we're going to place the Yorkshire pudding on top of his head and fill it with the vanilla pudding from America, and then we're going to put a Canadian hockey puck on top of that, just to make it representative of exactly what we talked about here today, and it's going to be fantastic. Do not eat it, though, because I'm not going to eat that shit. And you just need to listen to my advice. I know, right? Crazy. Thank you. Adios. See ya!